In my last video, I talked about difficulty in esports titles and tried my best to make it understandable for people of different esports backgrounds. Even though my esports background is largely from StarCraft, I tried to put in all kinds of games as examples. However, there is still a category of esports I completely forgot about, well, a $79 billion category. How could I forget something that comprises most of the video game industry's revenue and pulls in viewership comparable and even surpassing traditionally Western esports titles? NANI?! Mobile esports titles seem to come in two different flavors. There are those that are mobile ports of existing PC or console or even arcade esports, which are then broken down into games that lose no gameplay and games that are dumbed down versions of their predecessors. Then there are games that are optimized for mobile phones and actually make a lot of sense to belong in their platform. When the ports are lossless, I consider them to be qualitatively the same as their original predecessors, so I don't really feel the need to address them. However, mobile games that are dumbed down versions of their original predecessors can never give the same authentic experience as playing on their precursors. With these mobile games, the skill floor is often lowered dramatically, but unfortunately, so is the skill ceiling. Skills like spray control in PUBG, skillshot aiming in League of Legends, and motion inputs in fighting games are just completely taken out, so while anyone can pick up a mobile game and start playing, once you start getting better, you find that there's much to be desired when compared to their immobile counterparts. Now, this may sound a bit hypocritical because my background in esports titles consists of games like StarCraft 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and League of Legends, all games with more mechanically demanding counterparts. So what is the difference then between removing certain skills between iterations and creating mobile ports of the same game? With all the new studios making RTS games, the hot button topic is making the game accessible to new players while still preserving depth. I mean, this was literally the central theme to my previous video, and fighting games have been dealing with this problem for over 30 years now.
This has put game companies like Capcom, who have built loyal competitive fan bases, in a tough position. Appease the large pool of potential newcomers by lowering the skill gap, or be faithful to the smaller but more passionate competitive base by rewarding legacy skill and dedication.
So how does one go about preserving depth while appealing to new players? In Super Smash Bros. Melee, there's a mechanic called L canceling, where if you press the L or R button after using an aerial attack, for up to 7 frames before landing, it allows you to move around twice as fast after landing. In a game where combos are primarily through aerial juggles, being able to move quickly out of landing lag is imperative to winning. This is what I like to call a subtractive skill, because it blocks the intentionality of what you want to do by adding a barrier between you and your next movement. If you wanted to act faster, then you had to press the button quickly, but if you can't, you're literally stuck as the opponent will now proceed to completely rock your shit. In Melee, there's another mechanic though that's much more widely known, the Wavedash. By using a directional air dodge immediately after jumping, you can force your momentum into the ground, which lets you attack while moving at the same time. This one mechanic defines movement in Super Smash Bros. Melee. It allows the player to have an incredible amount of freedom of movement like never before, letting them throw out attacks, grabs, or even more wave dashes out of a wave dash. By giving the player an additional option for more control, wave dashing adds intentionality. You can move in a new way, thus allowing you to be more in sync with your character. So while one skill may act as a barrier to do certain moves, the other acts as an enabler for limitless movement. Don't get me wrong though, both add an incredible amount of depth to the game and are imperative to good skill expression. But with subtractive skills, the developers of the games must be wary of deliberately raising the skill floor by purposely limiting intentionality. Additive skills need not worry about this problem because they add intentionality, pushing the game forward, also more commonly known as emergent gameplay. Or as Joshua Beiser from the YouTube channel Game Wisdom puts it,
but what I wanted to focus on is the idea of treating mechanics as tools versus keys. A tool would be a hammer. We all know what a hammer does. It has a very specific purpose. You apply force with it. Again, not the most complicated thing, but it has a wide variety of applications. Give yourself some nails and a piece of wood, you can make a little wooden structure. You can break something. If you're a blacksmith, you can hammer iron or metal into a variety of shapes and patterns. The idea is that the hammer doesn't do much, but it has such a wide variety of applications that it can be used in a variety of situations. A key, on the other hand, is very simple. It has one very specific purpose, unlocking and locking a door, but that's it. Keys are designed around one specific purpose with no other application.
L canceling is a key to unlocking the viability of falling aerials, while wavedashing is a tool that can be applied to limitless scenarios. Both keys and tools are necessary to make a game function, and both contribute to the depth of the game, but you wouldn't ever make a shed with 20 doors to unlock in order to retrieve one tool. Games like StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2 were intent on eliminating as many keys as possible while still preserving the same tools. This was not the same with Super Smash Bros. Melee to its sequel, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, where many mechanics were outright removed, including L canceling and wavedashing.
Sakurai said, quote, "With Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it wasn't a matter of, okay, do we leave it in or do we take it out? We really just wanted this game to appeal to and be played by gamers of all different levels. We felt that there was a growing gap between beginners and advanced players, and taking wavedashing out helps to level the playing field. It wasn't a big priority or anything, but when we were building the game around the idea of making it fair for everybody, it just made sense to take it out. Obviously, this was upsetting to the Melee diehards.
Everything that made Melee great, the combo system with hit stun, the various movement options, it had all been lost in translation.
Because Nintendo purposely designed the game for casuals and publicly denounced competitive players, they took away both the keys and the tools. This is what makes Super Smash Bros. Brawl such a poor competitive successor to Super Smash Bros. Melee, because many of the tools that were once available are no longer at the player's disposal, which leaves you with slow and boring gameplay. So boring that the Smash community banded together to make a mod of Super Smash Bros. Brawl that played much faster, with wavedashing and L canceling included, at least until that too was denounced and shut down by Nintendo. Because mobile games that are adapted from previous games are more similar to Melee to Brawl than StarCraft 1 to StarCraft 2, much of the depth of these games and what made these games so popular in the first place becomes lost.
Is such a scene for Brawl still because of Melee, and because Melee was so competitive, people wanted to make Brawl just as competitive, and you can, just not, it's not pretty.
Without the emergence of new tools to replace them, these games become watered down versions of their originals. Because the touchscreen is so limiting, I have little faith that enough skills can emerge to create enough skill expression to re-flavor a watered down original game. We need mobile games that utilize the touchscreen to make new and better forms of skill expression. In this vein, games like Clash Royale do this brilliantly, where not having a tactile feedback is actually better to place units precisely on a screen without the pains of having to flick a mouse cursor back and forth. But at the end of the day, does my opinion really matter to the billions of dollars these games make and flood into the esports ecosystem?
Strictly mobile forever.
Are there any, the current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys.
Don't get me wrong, I love mobile games. I got into fighting games by playing KOFA, which is a mobile port of The King of Fighters 13, and I had to uninstall Clash Royale because it was so addicting to play while researching for this video. But I guess all I'm trying to say is that there's a reason why StarCraft 64 wasn't a sanctioned KESPA event. What is up, guys? I hope you all enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to let me know if there are any good competitive mobile games out there that aren't actually just clones of regular old PC or console games. And now that I'm back from college on summer break, hopefully I'll be able to get another video out before 3 months passes. And other than that, I'll probably just, be streaming on my Twitch, and probably be way too active on social media like Instagram and Twitter, all of that / SpiralBiscuit in the description. You know the drill. Well, anyway, with that said, hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And